everybody. My name is Johnny Ray, and this is 5R Recovery. Man, I haven't been on here in a while, and I don't like how long my hair is, or my facial hair is, but it's been a very, very busy 6 months to a year. So I decided I was going to do something different. 5R Recovery is doing meetings every Tuesday night at New Life Church in Everett. We're taking a month and we're dedicating the entire month to each R. So it'll be a 5-month set of series because there's 5 R's in recovery. See how that works? The first month was remembering our story. The second month is recovering from the bad, learning all the resources that are available and using them. And right now we're in our third phase. What I decided to do is our meetings are really, really powerful. And it's not to disturb the group. Because I thought about recording us. The people that are attending, the people that are showing up, the people that are talking are really, really amazing. And the meetings are starting to have a really impactful feeling on a lot of people's lives. What I'm loving about it is that it's not all people that just suffer from the same addiction. You know, we're kind of an all recovery meeting, from sex to drugs to men to women to eating to internet. You know, we're having people show up and talking about things that they're struggling with, and that's really the goal of 5R is, you know, we do specialize in drug addiction mainly, but mental health and homelessness are definitely tied into that, but it's not what we just only do. People struggle with all sorts of addictions, and they turn to some crazy stuff in their life when they're dealing with things, you know. And so, you know, it started out small. I knew it was going to start out small. I didn't know how many people were going to start showing up, and now we're getting bigger and bigger. I mean, at the biggest meeting we had was almost 40 people. And, you know, there's a couple of rules and regulations at 5R Recovery, but nothing too specific. You know, the first thing we talk about is that we are not a replacement for any fellowship. We are an addition to. We are an addition to. So not a replacement. We are an addition. We don't want to replace any other fellowships, any other programs, any other facilities. That's not what we're here to do. Everybody should seek multiple avenues of recovery. And we just believe that we're an addition to. We're just another form of help. So with that being said, we welcome everybody. It's not a fellowship. We don't work through 12 steps. We don't talk about steps. We don't talk about anything except for a topic that fits into the 5 phases of 5R recovery. So last night, again, was an amazing meeting. And I just kept thinking, God, how can I get these meetings out to people? And for a while, I was like, you know, I'm going to record it. If I can get everybody's permission and just record the meeting so that everybody can see, you know, what happens there and how powerful it is, we could reach a max audience. And then I thought about, man, I'd have to get everybody's consent, and there might be some people that want to remain anonymous or remain, you know, not in the spotlight, so that wouldn't work. So I thought about maybe just doing a recap. Like maybe I'll record a video, a recap of what we talked about last night to give people a better idea of what we're doing. So like I said, we're in the middle of our rejoice phase, being thankful for our lives. The first meeting was all about what are we thankful for? Real basic question. What are we thankful for? And for most people, it's the basic things: roof over our head, food, job, kids, you know, real basic. But this last week, I was hit with something that changed my whole subject that I was going to present to the group. I was hit with somebody who called me from high school, a friend of mine, reaching out about a tough situation that he's in dealing with a family member. And I'm not going to go into the specifics because I want to be able to keep him anonymous and not talk about personal things that are going on in his life. But what it made me think about was that here's this guy, his family member is struggling. He goes to help, ends up showing up at the right time. Guy's overdosed. He revives him, get him to hospital. It's on a Sunday. That Sunday, that transfer from hospital to treatment. They're trying to figure out insurance information. They're trying to navigate through COVID. And here's this brother that all he wants to do is get his brother into detox, into treatment. And I'm on the phone with him constantly, just trying to talk him through it, give him support, show my love, you know, give him some advice if he wants it. But he really had a good idea of what he was going to do, but he was just so tired and wore out. And I kept thinking to myself, like, what would that situation be like? You know, I've never had a brother. I have always just had a sister. You know, I still have a sister, but I've never had that call or had that situation where I had to show up at my relative's house, my brother or sister, and try to get them, you know, into treatment. Meanwhile, finding them, you know, dead on the floor, or reviving them, then getting them to the hospital where they Narcan them and bring them back, and what that would feel like. So then it made me think about like what was that feeling for him, you know, and how did that make him feel that when his brother was revived and he's ready to take him to treatment, how angry he is at his brother for making him go to treatment or telling him that he needs to go to treatment. And I just kept thinking about that. I was like, man, what a pivotal role that he played in his brother's life. His brother's alive because he showed up, because he didn't just call him on the phone, he didn't just FaceTime him, he found out where he was and he showed up at the perfect time where his brother's dead or overdosed, and he revived him and brought him back to life. And the guy didn't show any, thankfulness towards it at all. It wasn't, gracious, didn't show any gratitude, was just angry. And then I started thinking, man, what pivotal roles have people played in my life, have showed up at the right time? And we all have people in recovery that help us. I mean, we don't do this journey on our own. And this is what I spoke about last night. Remember, we're rejoicing. We're being thankful for our life. We thank God and we're thankful for what we have. But last night's topic was about what person are we thankful for that played a pivotal role in our lives? We all have grandparents and parents and siblings, and that's all great. And they could have played a pivotal role in your life. But I wanted to talk about what person played a role that showed up at the right time, that was put there by God, that literally changed your whole perspective. And it didn't necessarily have to be in recovery. I don't like to put recovery in a box. I want people to speak freely at our meetings about whatever's going on in their minds. Sometimes they go completely off subject or off topic, and that's fine. We want everybody to be able to talk. Another rule at our group is everybody talks and everybody listens. Everybody gets an opportunity to talk. Even if you just it gets to you and you're like, yeah, I really don't have anything to say, I don't feel like talking tonight, that's fine. That's okay. But everybody gets a chance to talk and everybody gets a chance to listen. Listening is just as important in our group as talking. Sit there still, try to pay attention, try to listen, open ears, make eye contact, be involved in the moment. Us as tweakers, we're all over the place, right? We're like, oh, somebody's sharing their story and I'm smoking or I'm walking. It's like, just try to sit there and be in the moment. We want you to learn it's just as important to learn how to listen as it is to talk. Sharing your story is vital. Listening is vital. Be the ears for the person, because when you're talking, there's people that are listening to you. Be that balance, right? That fine balance. That's one of the rules, is everybody talks, everybody shares. The other thing is we all have busy lives. So if the meeting goes longer, we're not a strict meeting. We're not like, from 6 to 7, meeting ends, meeting starts. No. There's grace period, because with addicts, they never show up on time. Let's be perfectly honest. They have to leave early. Their attention spans aren't too big. So that's another thing that we do. But one of the rules of 5-hour recovery is if you have to get up and leave, that's your time to talk. So you have to talk before you leave. And it doesn't have to be long. Like I said, everybody shares, everybody listens. But if you have to leave, if you have to go, you get a job, or you got to go pay for your kids or whatever, then you have the floor. And I think that gives everybody a chance to get stuff off of their chest and get it out. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I got to leave at 6. Well, if we're going around in the circle and it's 6:30, you go talk and then we'll go to the next person. That's how we work it. So last night, amazing meeting. That was the subject, was what pivotal person. And for me, it was a lady named Lucy. I have had amazing support in my life. And it doesn't just have to be in recovery. Like I said, I don't put it in a box. It could have been an impact that you had on your life, growing up. Who was a person that was your role model, or who was it? And that's all great. For me, it was a lady named Lucy. And I've had great support. Like I said, grandparents and parents and people throughout my life that have made an impact on who I am today. But it was the last time that I was homeless. And it was the last time that I was strung out. And it was the last time that I was living in a truck and living at a campsite. This woman, her name was Lucy, would come over and read to me and talk to me. And she welcomed me into this campsite, and she knew I was down on my luck, and I felt comfortable enough to tell her my real story. And she had a really big impact on my life at that time. When I first got clean, I was all by myself. I'd burned every bridge, and I had no money, and I was literally just found a place to park my truck, and that's where I lived. That's where I stayed, and she just was there for me. She didn't have to be. So for like 3 months in my life, here was this woman, strong faith, amazing, showed me grace, welcomed me even though she knew I was a junkie, and really was there for me, made me these green shakes with kale and all this. And I was like, at first. And then she started putting berries in it. It was just like, oh, it was amazing, because I didn't have any food. And I just remember like her impact on my life. Her constantly reminding me that I'm loved by God. her constantly showing me grace when I was not a very good person, coming down off of all of my substances, hating the world and hating everyone in it. And God put her there at the right time, because anybody else at that campsite could have shown me hate. They could have kicked me out, they could have treated me poorly, and it could have resulted into this crazy tangent or crazy, off the beaten path type of lifestyle. And it didn't. I felt loved at that moment. And so one of the things I did yesterday was I called her. I sent her a text message and called her, and just to say, hey, I'm 3 years and 1 month clean, and you played a pivotal role at the right time in my life. And yeah, it was for 3 months, but those 3 months were paramount to where I'm at today. And I'm thankful for you and your family for welcoming me and helping me out in my time of need. Your compassion is very, it's godlike, and it was godly. It was very Christian. It was very loving and compassionate. And I was just so thankful for her. And she sent me a text back saying, I'm so glad that you're alive, and I'm so glad that you're doing well. And so I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep that bond. I always want to keep that bond. And even if it was for such a short period of time, I'm thankful for that. And that's what we talk about in Rejoice. That's what we talked about at our meeting. There was tons of people there, all sharing who played pivotal roles. A lot of them, it was social workers, people who would find them in their drug-infested world and would show up time and time again. And those people, I applaud you. Those social workers in Everett, you know who you are. I'm not going to use your names because I don't want to put you on blast. There are some amazing social workers and people out here in Everett that have saved so many lives. There are other people that are running other programs, I'm not going to put their names on, that are saving so many lives. And what was great was that here we are sitting in a circle, everybody getting a chance to talk, everybody getting a chance to listen, and reminiscing and being thankful for those people. That's what we did. The meeting lasted about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Everybody felt loved. And I believe we made God smile. I believe we got to share things that maybe none of us ever knew about each other. And it was cool. So my sister showed up. She got to speak a little bit. And again, these are the meetings that we do every Tuesday night. And so that was what we did last night, was we learned to rejoice and we learned to be thankful for those people that played a pivotal role in our existence. And so there you go. I could tell you a couple other stories, but I'm not going to. Just please show up Tuesday nights at New Life Church if you watch this video. I'm going to keep doing recaps. I think recaps are important. Next week we are not a fellowship, so we are not affiliated with a 12-step club, but because it's Rejoice Month, it's important for us to be thankful for the people that impacted our lives, like we just talked about, and 2 of them are Dan and Amy Hillman. We're going to be celebrating their birthdays, or we're going to give them thanks. I know we're so conditioned to say the same thing over and over. We're going to be thankful for them on next Tuesday night. We're going to get a chance for everybody who they've impacted in their lives to gather, and it's going to be awesome. And we're just going to say nice things about them and give them, that sense of, you look at how many people you have helped in your life, and we're going to be thankful for them. We are going to rejoice Dan and Amy Hillman next week. So I'm Johnny Ray. 5 Hour Recovery. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I think all those accounts are still going. I have a website, 5hourrecovery.org. And we are a nonprofit here in Washington State. And we are trying to reach as many people as possible. I started this thing because I saw an ocean of a problem, and I had but one cup to try to fill up that problem, try to help that problem. And I felt like a nonprofit and a group of smart minds, intelligent people could get together and solve that problem better. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do. We don't have any strict rules or regulations. We don't care what your political views are. We don't care what your religious views are. What we want is, we want you to be able to get clean and figure things out for yourself. And we can help you with all sorts of resources and different ideas and different things. We're very untraditional. We're a little unorthodox. People have told me I'm a little crazy. That's valid. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll keep doing these recap videos, and you guys stay safe, be kind to each other. And I'm Johnny Ray, and this is 5 Hour Recovery. So thank you.